this computer, and that is beautiful. So I've just started with a little bit of music because I love a little bit of music to start, just to see, wait to see if we get some people joining us tonight. And if you are jumping on, hi, this is Sharon. I'm Shazza. We'll keep it easy. So Sharon and Shazza, we're collaborating tonight to share the wisdom on Wednesday night wisdom. So good evening to you all, wherever you guys are tuning in from. So big welcome. It's really weird. I've got the phone in front of me, and I'm seeing myself a little bit later on, late like in delay. So I have got my phone here. So if you're putting some comments in, I will check the comments on my phone. Other than this has been live zoomed into the group. So biggest welcome to everybody. So great to have you, Sharon. So great to have you. Thank you for joining. This is episode number 2. I think I just want to quickly recap why these episodes and this little Wisdom Wednesday feels so important to me right now. I think it's really important that we do gather, and I think in these times that we're in right now also, and without going into the stories around, the Rona space that we're in, it is really important that we do gather, and it's important that we share our stories and our wisdom, because when they land on others, it can be really helpful. And there's another aspect of that for when we do share our stories, and to be seen in our story is super powerful as well. To be witnessed, to be held while you share. I know when that's done for me, it's really powerful. There's a lot of healing in that. So thank you for everybody who has become part of this, and anybody else who wants to reach out and join us for the upcoming weeks, please just PM me. So I'm going to hand it over to Shaz. I'm going to call you. Do you get called Shaz?
Yep.
Okay. Because I just wanted to call you Shaz. Sharon. I feel like I'm in trouble these days, so it's just Shaz. So I'm going to hand it over to Shaz, and she's going to, I guess, just break down and tell her story through the wisdom that she's found in her journey. I guess from that space of, in that pursuit of self, because that's what this topic is about, and how that came about, how that awakening, I guess, came to you. So I'm going to hand you over. Be welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to do this. It's kind of very scary. It's more confronting than you think that around doing this. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to step way out of my comfort zone and do this. When we were speaking before, we were talking about the journeys that we have. And I think as we grow older, can't speak for men, but I do know that in my own experience with a lot of the women that I know, as we grow older, we start to let society's expectations go a little bit. And I think we start to grow into who we are. We start learning to fit into our own skin instead of trying to pin and tuck and zip and sew our skins to make us fit into something that society expects. I've actually I am listening to an audio book by Glennon Doyle.
Oh, Untamed?
Untamed. And it's been one of the most impressive reads. She's such a brave woman at such a young age. I mean, I'm not there yet. So, but there's also stuff, I don't want to think about the stuff she's been through to get there.
No, we all have individual, unique journeys. Like, and that's it. I think some people have big things that happen, and other people we just have, smaller things.
Yeah. And I was well and truly in the process after I turned 50 of, just shedding that skin that I'd had, that, where I was, I was Beck and BJ's mum and Jim's wife and the psych nurse and Joyce's daughter, Debonelle's sister. And I
Yeah,
thought, that's all really cool, but who am I?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, who is Sharon and what drives her?
What are you passionate about? What excites you? All those questions.
Yeah, it's
All
all
those
those
questions.
things.
Yeah. Who
And
am
I've
I?
always, for ages, and nursing's one of those wonderful professions where you can kind of pack it up and take it almost anywhere you'd like to go. And I'd always had this yearning to live in Queensland. So at the end of 2015, that's what we did. We packed stuff up and we drove to Mackay, um, where I'd decided I was going to work for 12 months. And while I was there, I sort of started discovering myself. I discovered that I loved running, even, though I was a bit of this flabby thing, huffing my way around the botanical gardens in Mackay. But I missed seasons.
Yep, I can understand that. Yep.
Up in northern Queensland, it's either hot or it's either humid or it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I missed seasons. So back we came and I fell into an amazing job that I'm still doing now, and I still just love it. I work with people with drug and alcohol issues. And I was really happy in all of that, cruising through, get to July 2017 and, was feeling a bit, sort of started feeling a bit off. Nothing really disconcerting, but just started to feel a little bit off. And I ended up unwell and in hospital, and blood tests showed that my iron levels were low.
Mm.
And I thought, oh yeah, been there, done that, and thought, an iron transfusion, all will be fine.
Yeah.
So had the iron transfusion and everything did stabilise, did improve, but I had a GP who wouldn't let it go.
Yeah.
And he sent me for a gastroscopy and a colonoscopy. And again, you kind of think, been there, done that. I've had this done a couple of times before. It's all cool. Wake up, eat the sandwiches, go home.
Yeah.
And after the gastroscopy, I was last on the list, and the surgeon comes round and he's talking to all the people, and he's like, everything's good. There were a couple of polyps, we cut them out, nothing wrong. Anyway, comes to me, and he's like, he looks at me and he draws the curtains around the bed. I mean, as if that's going to help anything. And he started talking and he said, the gastroscopy was clear. We didn't find anything to be concerned about. And then I'm not entirely certain that this is actually the way it happened.
Mm.
But then he said to me, there was an issue with your colonoscopy and we found cancer. And it's like, it's like my world just stopped.
Mm.
And then I know he was talking to me, and I could see my daughter out in the waiting area through the window. And the surgeon was speaking to me, and I'm like, it's like I was underwater. And I'm trying to listen to what he's telling me.
So
And
from that, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I've interrupted you then too. So from that, like, was there that, I mean, that was the moment you got told that your life was about to change. What you thought, you know, when you went in there, you've had anesthetic, you've woken up, and your life has just changed.
Yes.
What was your first feeling?
I was numb.
Mm.
I couldn't really take it in.
Mm.
You know,
So how long did that take to sink, like to land? Or
well, it lands with a real thud the
yeah,
moment you hear it. But then, in my case anyway, my brain just started scrambling madly, thinking, no, this can't be happening.
yeah.
So there's this denial.
Mm.
There's, you know, there was this part of my psyche that was just going, no, how can this happen? I'm fit-ish. I'm healthy. How does this happen?
Mm.
And then your mind sort of starts going over all the scenarios.
Mm.
And I thought, I've got 2 young grandchildren. I have to see them grow up.
Yeah.
You know,
So what happened then? Like, I'm just I don't want to interrupt you at all, Sharon, at all. I'm mindful of time to get to the nuts and bolts of like that really, you know, the moment, you know, the stuff that starts to, you know, crack you open. Like, I mean, obviously cancer cracks you open. Like it cracks you open. You're exposed, you're vulnerable immediately.
Yes. My breaking open moment, and there's actually a really wonderful book called Broken Open, and I found that incredibly helpful. Was a couple of days later, and my husband and I had gone down to the shops.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the people, and I'm like, your world is just going on. Your lives are just going on as normal, and mine has just been thrown completely off balance. And I was angry and I was scared, and I'm like, I can't do this. You know, this isn't fair. And out of nowhere, like this bolt, there was this thought in my head so pronounced it was almost a voice. For God's sake, don't tell me any of my psych friends. But it was almost a voice, and it said, you've got to love this.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you love that? Like, how did you love cancer?
Well, I did. Well, I didn't know how I was supposed to make sense of that. So after my husband left for work that afternoon, I sat with that thought for a while. And my overarching thought then was, I've got to find the positives in this. I have to find the lessons. Yeah. And for me, that's what it was about. It was the decisions made that, okay, I'm going to have the treatments. I'm going to do the things that they tell me to do. But I also have to go I really have to go within and find out what every positive thing that comes from this and use it. Because to focus on the negatives would just do my head in.
Yeah.
It was too much to be scared of.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was do you remember, like, if there was that one thing, you know, that first thing, maybe not the first thing, but like something that profound, that kind of that positive thing that was happening to you in this moment, like in this moment, in your treatments, you know, what was positive? You know, what was the thing that kind of got you out of bed to?
I was discovering.
Well,
yeah, I was discovering a strength I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could be so resilient. I didn't know that I could get up out of bed on days when I was feeling really sick. I didn't know until I had to do it, that I could be incredibly unwell as a result of the treatments that I was having, but still keep moving forward. And you don't know that you can do that until you're forced to do it.
And the gift, what was the gift? Like, was there one big gift that you got from cancer?
Yeah, there were a few. The outpouring of love that I was shown from people who really didn't even know me.
Yeah. And were you able to receive that love?
I was.
Because a lot of women, and I was definitely one of those that couldn't receive the love, wasn't able to receive love. I'd push that away. So that's why I asked that. You know, there's a lot of women don't, because they're very good carers. They're not very good. They're good at giving, not receiving. So awesome.
And I've always, I understand that completely, because I've always been the cheerleader.
Yeah.
And the difficulty in this was that I kind of had to be my own cheerleader as well, because people around me were devastated and hurting as well.
Yeah.
And that was really hard. So, but just the outpouring of strength from other people to hold me up at times when I was feeling low was just astounding.
Yeah.
And the generosity of people, not with material stuff, but with their love and with their support, their compassion, their empathy, was just amazing. And it was so humbling, really.
So like humanity, isn't it? Like humanity at its best, when we can come together and hold each other and support each other when we need it the most.
Yeah.
You know, not just buying, paying it forward on a coffee, it's when people, like they're all great. I love doing that too. Like, and I think that's a really nice feel good thing that we can do. It's just nice to be able to receive. I think that's just a beautiful gift. But
and I think that's something that's really important. I think you make a really good point there, in that in society, we're so often taught that giving is the thing, and that we never really learn to accept people's generosity graciously, I think. Sometimes it's innate, sometimes we can just do it. And I think that my upbringing meant that I was actually pretty lucky in that I always had a lot of positivity around me. So, and that was another thing from it, is, just to look back and realise how fortunate I have been.
Yeah, so gratitude would have been a huge part of that journey, when, like that gift, to come back to gratitude.
Yep.
To anchor into that, That's, that pursuit, oh my gosh, I can see that. I can see how that. So what did you find out? I mean, you found out that you were so resilient in these times. Yep. You found out you were super resilient. You could receive love, and they were the two. What else did you find out about yourself? In that time, or what's unfolded, since that. Oh, and you prior to that, I guess you started to realize that you, without putting words in your mouth, I suppose, being a bit of a people pleaser. And you got to the point you went, I can't just please everybody anymore. My cup's kind of empty, and I need to look at what's going on for me so I can find out who I am. So, I go, like, kind of take the titles off, resign from the roles that I played all my life, so I can actually go, like, okay, now I'm Sharon and naked, which we call it, which I have to share, that Shaz called me the other night because we were trying to set up this, and I'm in the bath and she's jumped out of the shower. So we were naked together. We didn't see each other, but we were naked together. So, like, this is part of it, isn't it? Like, it's to be seen kind of naked. journey, like to get back to like
That was
it was a complete accident. It was just, it was random and it was funny, but perfect. Like I got off that, when that happened, I'm like, isn't that funny how that happened? Like, yeah.
I think the one big lesson for me was that you have to live your life. If there are things you want to do, do them.
Yeah.
Make it happen. It's so important to make these things happen. Because when we feel these things, like I've always wanted to go and live in Queensland, I've always wanted to travel overseas, I always wanted to do whatever.
Yeah.
I was always finding a reason not to, or I was taking on board, more importantly, I think, taking on board other people's reasons why we couldn't do it or why it couldn't happen. And I just kind of went, you know what? No, this is my life. I get this shot at it. If there's things I want to do, I'm going to do them.
Yeah.
The only person I need to please here on this journey is me.
Yeah. And it's not selfish.
No, absolutely not.
Because I'm very much brought up, well, I was, in a way that, that was selfish if you had to look after yourself, if you thought of you first. But there is selfish and selfless and all that kind of stuff without getting into, I guess that detail. But I think, the whole thing, isn't it? Like if you don't look after yourself and if your cup is not full, you're running on empty. Like you're not, like I become an asshole, basically. And like, and that's it. Like, and that's it. So it's actually not selfish for me to fill up my cup so I can give.
Well, that's right. And it's the same for me. And one of the things that it, like, as I said, I'm a nurse in a drug and alcohol service. And I do a lot of working with women, mothers who have substance use issues. And when I speak to them, so many of them are telling me about their partners, their children, their families, their parents, their work, whatever. And the question that I now ask is, where do you fit in all of this?
Yeah.
And invariably, they're third, fourth, fifth down the list.
Yeah.
Because we've all bought into this thing that to go back to last week's discussion that you had.
Love.
Yeah. Self-love is absolutely not selfish. It's essential, because if we don't look after ourselves, we can't look after other people. And that was another of the lessons that I took from having cancer, is that, while I was sort of paying lip service to the fact that I wasn't unhealthy.
Yeah.
I realised there was so much more I could be doing, so many different things that I could be doing that were going to enhance my wellness.
Yeah.
I refused to have an illness mindset about it.
Yeah.
I'd had this thing happen, I was getting treatment, and it was all going to be fine.
Yeah.
I just had to keep putting one foot in front of the other, learning the lessons and working out. It's just been the most amazing gift in that it has allowed me to start finding myself. I mean, I'm not even halfway there, but I really like
it. End.
But I really like the person I'm becoming.
Yeah.
I really, really like the person who's emerging out of all of this.
Oh, so awesome. It really is. I mean, I love that. Like, I just love that because I feel like, when we for everyone, let me speak properly. you know, from my own journey too, like you start to become free, like freedom. Like, you know, in my online journey, I talk about freedom, and I was like, you know, like it's taken me to realize, you know, freedom is not anything. It's not traveling overseas. It's not having not a 9 to 5 job. Freedom is an internal thing that you feel free in. Then all that stuff may happen or not. You know, it just once you're free, once you start freeing yourself from within, all those restraints that we put on ourselves, all those titles, all those roles that we play, all the conditioning. Once we start to break away that, and we start to become free within, and when I see people, you know, like starting to, you know, when you spoke, then like your body language changed immediately.
Yeah.
Like that excites the crapper out of me. It really does, because that's, you know, like when I talk about my online business, that's what gets me excited, because I watch people and myself just start to flourish, you know, and that's the why, like being expressed in who the hell we are, you know, like without all the pretending to be someone that we're not, you know, like we don't consciously pretend to be somebody that we're not. It's just years and years of masks and
it's lots and lots of conditioning.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know,
I'm not blaming anybody.
No, I think women are particularly vulnerable to it. But I see it in the men who are both my colleagues at work and the clients that I work with. Everybody's kind of we're all kind of taking on these roles that sometimes just don't fit us.
No, we take them on to be loved. We take them on to be seen. We take them on because we're forced to. Like, there's so many reasons why we take them on. Like, it's society expects that, you know, like you can't do it that way because that's not the right way to do it. That's, you know, we've got to get rid of the boxes and let everyone just express who they are, you know, if we're talking about what we're talking, you know, what's happening in the world right now, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're sitting on, just be okay with the side that you're sitting on. Doesn't really matter, you know, like, and not everybody's on a journey that's going to take them to wherever. Like, some people are just going to sit, and that's because that's their journey.
Yeah, that's right. There's so much fear and anger at the moment, and both of those are so destructive.
But it's pain. It's just pain. There's so much pain. There's so much unhealed pain of so much. Well, this is my, you know, my unexpressed stuff, emotions of who they are, and that's where drugs and alcohol all come in, because we numb it, because we can't be with who we are.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, we've lost somewhere centuries ago, probably.
Yeah, totally. It's ancestral.
With who we really are.
Yeah.
And it takes often something really seismic, like with me, to shift. I was starting to shift.
Yeah.
But this kind of just kicked away anything left that was holding up those old thoughts. The patterns haven't completely changed yet, but, you know, we're all a work in progress.
Oh, 100%. And I think the older that we are, it takes a little bit longer to unfold it, because we've had all that conditioning for longer. You know, we're not 20 and only got 20 years on this planet, you know, like you're 50. And so there's 50 years of stuff that, you know, undoing. So it's kind of, that's me anyway. It takes me a bit longer to.
Yeah. And, you know,
the unlearning, not the learning.
I've had many rotations around the sun now. So, you know, but it's not how long the journey takes that is the important thing. I think the important thing is that we take the steps.
And we enjoy it. Enjoy every day, because tomorrow, we don't know if we've got tomorrow. And yesterday was yesterday. Right now is the moment we have.
Yes.
Like, if I wasn't going to enjoy this, I wouldn't be here anymore. It's one of those things that you know, like you start to tap into and you go, it's not a hell yes. it's a F no. Like, it's got time for that anymore.
Yeah. And that's what I'm slowly learning to do, is to, you know, to stand in my own power and just go, no, that is not what lights my soul up. I am not doing it.
Yeah. And lovingly, sorry, I can't, no.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
sorry, not even sorry. It's not even the words, you know, that vocabulary, like you're, yeah. It's just like, no, that doesn't vibe anymore.
Yeah.
The end. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'm more than happy for you to continue doing, but it's not where I'm at now.
You gotta follow that, what lights up your soul, what ignites that whisper inside that, you know, gets you excited. And if it doesn't,
And
no.
the unfortunate part of that is I'm one of those people who just loves to dive down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Somebody will say something and I'll go, oh, that's really interesting. And so off I go, down that rabbit hole, and I find out about, you know, I sort of immerse myself in that. And then it's on to the next thing. So, you know, I'm a little bit flighty, but that's okay.
Oh, I am too. I am very much so. And I was listening, I'm looking at the time, it's 8:34. So we'll start to wrap this up because I'm very mindful of time and giving it to it. Pardon?
Don't I sound old? It's getting late.
It's getting late. I'm an early bird now. I'm a 5 o'clock girl. I'm in the 5 a.m. club, so it is late for me. But that's okay. That's not why I'm winding it up. I just like to keep it to a space where it becomes like informative, that people get something from this, you know, from a place of service, that we're sharing the Wisdom Wednesday from a place of service. So if somebody gets a nugget and goes, yeah, man, I've just been diagnosed with cancer, and thank you for reminding me that there's a gift, you know, that's the message, you know, that's a message there. You know, cancer can feel like it's the worst thing in the world, but if you can look at the gift in it, that might get you through.
Absolutely.
You know, is that, you know, if there's one thing here, you know, that you would like to leave people tonight on our chat, we'll have to have you back for number 2, I think. We'll dig a bit deeper. What would you leave them with? What would your message be? Remembering, coming back to this is cancer and the pursuit of self.
Don't focus on, like, if you are diagnosed with any life-threatening illness, I think try really hard not to focus on the illness itself. But the most important thing is realize that this is your life to live, and just live it. Embrace your life, embrace who you are, flaws and all, because we are all so perfectly imperfect that, and have fun. Just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's for.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Sharon, so much for sharing your wisdom with us and the world. Honor having you here. We could hold some space for you to share that, because, you know, it is really brave and courageous for you to do that. And I really honor that. Thank you for saying yes to tonight.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So thank you, everybody who's joining it. And look, tag anybody in this, share this with somebody that may need to hear this today or tonight. The more we share our stories, the more healing we can have around the world. So that's the mission. Thank you, and signing off. Bye. Thank you.